Hey there fellow trainers, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna dive deep into the Pokemon universe once again, but this time we're addressing the mistakes made by the Pokemon Company in their recent releases, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. These games had so much potential and were so highly anticipated, but unfortunately, they fell short of our expectations. But fear not, in this video, we'll discuss the key areas where the Pokemon Company needs to make changes to redeem themselves and deliver the Pokemon games we all deserve in the future. So grab your favorite Pokemon plushie, sit back, and let's get started. Number 1. Strengthening storytelling and character development. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet suffered from a lackluster narrative and a shallow character development. The Pokemon Company needs to invest more resources into crafting engaging and emotionally resonant stories that captivate players from start to finish. I know that Pokemon is not known for having good, deep stories, but there's always time for Pokemon to start incorporating good stories into their games. Think of the Pokemon anime. That has a decent story. That is a story that allows the watchers to at least come back to the next episode. So why doesn't the Pokemon game incorporate any of those aspects? Introducing complex characters with compelling backstories, meaningful interactions, and personal growth arcs can breathe life into the Pokemon world and make us genuinely care about the journey we embark on. Let's see the stories of trainers and Pokemon intertwine in ways that leave a lasting impact. Previous Pokemon games, such as Pokemon Black and White, showcased the potential for engaging narratives and well-developed characters. These games introduced Team Plasma, an antagonistic group with a complex ideology, and explored themes of truth and ideals. Think about N. N started off as a random character. He was your rival. He battled you from time to time, but eventually as the story went on, he became more than just a rival. He became a character you felt sorry for, and even more than that, he became a friend. By taking inspiration from these games, the Pokemon Company can craft intricate narratives that delve into deeper themes and create morally ambiguous characters. For example, they can introduce rival trainers with their own motivations and personal growth arcs, adding layers of complexity to the story and making the game world feel more alive and immersive. Number 2. Balancing difficulty levels. Scarlet and Violet lacked balance in terms of difficulty. While it's important to cater to players of different skill levels, the games should offer a challenging experience for seasoned trainers. The Pokemon Company needs to strike a delicate balance, ensuring that beginners can enjoy the game without feeling overwhelmed, while also providing a satisfying level of challenge for experienced players. This can be achieved by implementing scalable difficulty options, allowing players to adjust the challenge to their liking. How they could have incorporated this in Scarlet and Violet is by setting up the gyms in a way that the first gym you challenge would be level 10, next gym would be level 20, and so on. But they're not. You can fight the 8th gym right away, straight off the bat for extreme difficulty, but if you do that, you're going to sweep the other gyms because your Pokemon levels are going to be so high. Pokemon games have experience with difficulty levels in the past, like in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. They had the Battle Frontier, which provided a challenging post-game experience for hardcore trainers, but they didn't have a setting or a way that you could make the game harder without beating the game and going into the Battle Frontier. And the Pokemon Company can build upon this by offering difficulty options at the start of the game, allowing players to choose between a standard mode or a more difficult, challenging mode. Additionally, they can incorporate optional side quests or hidden battles that offer tougher encounters and greater rewards, appealing to experienced players seeking a more strategic and intense gameplay experience. Kind of like Cynthia in Black and White 2, you could go in and you could battle her for a challenging battle. Number 3. Expanding post-game content. Post-game content is a critical component of any Pokemon game, or any game for that matter, and Scarlet and Violet fell short in this aspect. The Pokemon Company needs to enrich the post-game experience by introducing a plethora of exciting and meaningful activities, besides a couple of bland quest lines, and every week we do Pokemon Company's raids. We do the raids that the Pokemon Company sends out to us, which I honestly haven't been doing because the raids are broken. Imagine epic boss battles, challenging dungeons, captivating side quests, and even the opportunity to explore new regions or revisit past ones, like exploring new lands in Pokemon Sword and Shield, or revisiting Kanto in Crystal. By offering robust post-game content, the Pokemon Company can provide trainers with countless hours of enjoyment even after completing the main storyline. Pokemon Emerald stands out as an excellent example of a game with extensive post-game content. It introduced the Battle Frontier, a facility offering a variety of challenging battle modes and rewarding experiences. To improve post-game content in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, the Pokemon Company can introduce new regions or areas to explore, like they did in Sword and Shield with the Isle of Armor and Crown Tundra, additional story arcs that delve into the game's lore, like the Delta episode in Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and challenging boss battles against powerful trainers or legendary Pokemon, which they technically do have with their 7-star raids. They can also introduce post-game quests that reward players with rare items, unique Pokemon, or unlockable features, providing a sense of accomplishment and incentive to continue playing, which they are essentially doing with their DLC. Number 4. Diversifying Pokemon designs. Now, I am not saying that Pokemon's designs are bad. I think that the designs for Scarlet and Violet were charming to say the least. I did enjoy their Flamingo and a bunch of their other Pokemon. But Pokemon are not receiving the same quality that they were receiving before. I don't know. I just felt like this region was underwhelming in a lot of their regards. So while Scarlet and Violet introduced some fantastic new Pokemon, there were also a few designs that left many trainers feeling underwhelmed. The Pokemon Company needs to invest more time and effort into diversifying Pokemon designs, ensuring a healthy mix of imaginative, memorable, and visually appealing creatures. Additionally, they should draw inspiration from outside sources like various cultures, mythology, and the natural world, which they do, but they should be using more of this to create a more diverse and intriguing roster of Pokemon. Let's see the Pokemon world come alive with a vast array of unique and captivating species. Pokemon games have showcased a diverse range of creature designs, such as the region-specific forms introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. And there are region-specific forms in Paldea, but there aren't really that many. To further enhance diversity, the Pokemon Company can draw inspiration from these different cultures and mythologies to create new Pokemon with unique typings, abilities, and designs. For example, they can introduce Pokemon inspired by creatures from folklore or based on endangered species, raising awareness about conservation. And by diversifying these Pokemon designs in that sense, the franchise then caters to a wider audience and then sparks curiosity and excitement about discovering these new creatures. Number 5. Improving graphics and animation. One area where Scarlet and Violet faced criticism was in their graphics and animation. And I know that the Switch hardware, it operates at 30 frames per second, but at least the developers of Zelda were able to make a game that was somewhat decent in its graphics. And I actually thought Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's graphics were pretty darn good. There are people that complain about their graphics because the Switch runs at 30 frames per second. And I mean, Pokemon Company can only do so much while working on this hardware, but they could have done better. The Pokemon Company needs to invest in cutting-edge technology and talent to deliver the visually stunning games that we want and that push the boundaries of what's possible on the Switch hardware that runs at 30 frames per second. From highly detailed environments to fluid and dynamic battle animations, every aspect of the game's visual presentation should be a feast for the eyes. By enhancing graphics and animation, the Pokemon Company can create a more immersive and awe-inspiring Pokemon experience. There is no reason why we should be having the chunky battle animations and graphics that we have right now. Pokemon Sword and Shield marked a significant transition to 3D graphics, but some players felt that the visuals could be further improved. Now, there are people that prefer the 2D graphics, but Pokemon needed to evolve in the sense that they needed to go from 2D to 3D, just like all of the other AAA games that were going on. They needed to. Just like as open world was the newest, biggest, brightest thing, they went and did an open world game. Its outcome wasn't the best, but at least they went from having a linear style game to an open world game. The Pokemon Company can enhance the graphics and animation by leveraging the capabilities of modern hardware. They can create more detailed and expressive character models, incorporate dynamic weather effects and day-night cycles that affect the game's world, and introduce smoother animations that bring Pokemon battles to life. The weather effects and day-night cycles, I feel like in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, are really lackluster because in other games, like in the Xenoblade series and in the Zelda series, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, the weather actually plays an important role in not only the battles or your encounters, but it also plays an important role in the environment. Like, the weather actually affects what's going on in your environment. Like, lightning can strike you in the Zelda games if you're holding a metal object. They could use stuff like that with the weather effects and the day-night cycles, and they could make it, instead of just a second thought with the game and something that you're just like, oh, I'm running through area 2 of Paldea and oh, it's raining. Okay, that means more Wooper are gonna spawn. Instead of just doing that, they could make it better, like, oh, it's raining. I can't do this, I can't climb up this, I can't cross this river because the river is too high. Like, I can't access this cave right now. The river's blocking the cave. They could do stuff like that by allowing the weather to actually affect the environment and the day-night cycles to actually affect the game world, rather than just having it be something that happens. Additionally, they can focus on creating visually stunning environments with intricate details and vibrant colors, offering breathtaking vistas and landmarks that captivate players' imaginations. There was no place in Paldea that had me thinking, oh my gosh, this scenery is amazing. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 had so many areas where I was like, holy cow, this is beautiful. Tears of the Kingdom almost brought me to tears with the scenery. It was amazing. It was breathtaking. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, it looks like a game that was made 5 years ago. It is very lackluster. Number 6, evolving online features. Online features play a vital role in the Pokemon franchise, not just the Pokemon franchise, but pretty much any game. Online features are huge, as it makes a community for your game, and Scarlet and Violet missed the mark in this regard. The Pokemon Company needs to revamp and expand online features to foster a vibrant and engaging community. This includes seamless online connectivity, intuitive trading and battle systems, and the introduction of new online activities and events. Creating an online ecosystem where trainers from around the world can connect, compete, and collaborate is key to enhancing the overall Pokemon experience. Right now, in the game world, you'll have two games. You'll either have a game that is a solo game that relies on just the playability of itself and just the fact that people are going to want to go and explore and discover new things in that game, and that's going to bring that solo player game to the top of the charts. For all the other games that don't want to rely on just solo play, they're going to need to rely on multiplayer, which means online features. They need to have a good, constructive online community that people want to be a part of and people want to join. And previous Pokemon games like X and Y introduced online features that brought trainers together. Like, we'll use the GTS for example. The GTS allowed players to trade Pokemon with others from around the world, fostering a sense of global connectivity. And they also had this thing, I think it was like the PCC or something, and you could see all the passerbys, like other people that were connecting as well, connecting online. And you could just click on their icon, ask them to trade or battle, and then once you did that, they'd become an acquaintance. If you played enough with them, they'd become a friend. You could have never seen these people in person, but yet still have them as acquaintances or friends. There has been nothing else even remotely close to being as good as those functions. And the Pokemon Company should take what they had in X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire and build upon it by expanding the online features and put it into the latest Pokemon games, and just keep on expanding on the ideas they had back then, because that was good. That worked and that was fun. Even the Festival Plaza in Sun and Moon, that was good too. I enjoyed that. I didn't enjoy it as much as the one in X and Y, but I still think that the Festival Plaza was also pretty good as well. By implementing real-time player interactions within the game world, and by creating in-game communities where players can share their achievements, strategies, and creations, the online features would then promote engagement, collaboration, and a sense of community among Pokemon trainers worldwide and build upon their fan base. Number 7. Introducing innovation in gameplay mechanics. Pokemon games have experimented with innovative gameplay mechanics in the past. Like in Black and White 2, the introduction of the PWT, Pokemon World Tournament, offered a unique battle experience, allowing players to face off against famous trainers from previous generations. I remember playing that and I was like, holy cow, I'm fighting Crasher Wake from Sinnoh. I was soundly defeated the first couple of times I faced off against him, but once I beat him, I was so happy, I was so excited to overcome that challenge, and it was an amazing addition to the games. The PWT by itself, if that was implemented in Scarlet and Violet, that would make the game so much better, just because they would be acting on the sense of players' nostalgia, and it would improve the reception of the games. To further innovate gameplay mechanics, the Pokemon Company can introduce new battle systems like the PWT that add strategic depth, such as introducing new move types or battle mechanics that require players to consider more complex strategies. They did this in Scarlet and Violet with terastallization, and I think terastallization is amazing. I think it's really, really smart and a very good mechanic to have, but with all the bugs and glitches and stuff, the game's performance performance kind of makes it so that the playability of even battles or raids, it makes it so that you can't really appreciate their new battle mechanic to the extent that we should be appreciating it. They can also incorporate new exploration mechanics, such as the ability to interact with the environment or solve puzzles to discover hidden areas or rare Pokemon, which they did with the sealed Pokemon, where you had to get, I think it was like 25 or 30 of the stakes, collecting them and then finding those Pokemon. That made it so that you actually explored the world, and it made it so that you discovered those hidden areas, found those rare Pokemon. I think they should have more of that. These innovations would inject fresh excitement and variety into the gameplay experience. Number 8. Prioritizing game performance. Scarlet and Violet faced performance issues such as frame rate drops and long loading times. The Pokemon Company needs to prioritize game performance, ensuring smooth gameplay and seamless transitions between areas. We should not be accepting games right now in 2023 that don't run smoothly. We should not be playing them. That it should be the baseline that video game nowadays is going to be running smooth and has seamless transitions between everything. We shouldn't be playing a game and all of a sudden have it bug out. Optimizing game engines, refining coding practices, and conducting thorough quality assurance testing are essential steps to deliver a polished and optimized gaming experience. So please, we just want to have a seamless adventure through the Pokemon world without any technical hiccups. Pokemon games have faced performance issues in the past, such as frame rate drops or long loading times, but to address this, the Pokemon Company can learn from games like Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which improved upon the performance issues of their predecessors. Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they improved from X and Y. I don't know why the Pokemon Company stopped improving their games, but from Sword and Shield to Scarlet and Violet, the games got worse. By optimizing game engines, minimizing loading screens, and ensuring a stable frame rate, the Pokemon Company can deliver a smoother and more seamless gameplay experience. If they do this, they can also prioritize thorough testing, quality assurance processes, and they'll be able to identify and rectify any performance-related issues before the game's release, ensuring a polished and enjoyable experience for players. Number 9. Embracing community feedback. One of the biggest mistakes the Pokemon Company made with Scarlet and Violet was disregarding the voice of the community. The voice of the community is what game developers need to listen to, because the game developers, they want to make a good game. They want a game that people like. They want a game that people enjoy playing, and they enjoy making the games that they make. The Pokemon Company enjoys making Pokemon products. At least I hope they do. But the Pokemon Company disregarded the voice of the community during Scarlet and Violet. They failed to listen to the feedback, suggestions, and concerns raised by passionate trainers worldwide. Everybody's complaining about all of the glitches, their games crashing, losing save data, and they're not doing a thing about it. Instead, they release a patch that makes it so that players in Japan and Korea don't have issues playing on the ladder, which is not really even something most people want to do because of the way that there's so many glitches and stuff. It makes it almost unplayable. Moving forward, the Pokemon Company needs to establish better channels of communication with the community, actively engage in discussions, and implement meaningful changes based on the feedback received. They need to listen to players who have concerns, and they need to listen to those players. They need to make a decision on whether or not those concerns are valid, and they need to make a change. By valuing and incorporating community input, they can ensure that future games align more closely with the desires of the players. By drawing inspiration from the strengths of previous Pokemon games and addressing these key areas, the Pokemon Company can create better games that resonate with both longtime fans and new players. And by doing all of these things that we've talked about, by improving their storytelling, the difficulty levels, more post-game content, diversifying Pokemon designs, improving the graphics and animation, evolving online features, introducing innovative gameplay mechanics, and prioritizing game performance, this will all contribute to a more immersive and satisfying Pokemon experience. Let's hope that the Pokemon Company embraces these improvements and delivers the Pokemon games we've all been eagerly awaiting. There you have it, trainers. We've explored the key areas where the Pokemon Company needs to make changes to redeem themselves after the shortcomings of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Remember, as passionate trainers, our voices do matter. So let's continue to provide constructive feedback, engage in meaningful discussions, and inspire the Pokemon Company to rise to new heights of creativity and innovation. Together, we can shape the future of the Pokemon franchise and embark on an unforgettable Pokemon adventure that exceeds our wildest expectations. Thank you for joining me on this epic quest to fix Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe for more Pokemon content, and share your thoughts and ideas in the comments below. Until next time, trainers, may your journey be filled with excitement, friendship, and endless Pokemon possibilities.